But this fanfic read, I'm going to be doing this a little differently. As you can see first, you don't see my face to see the thing I'm reading instead. Also, I'm using a microphone. I have no idea if this is going to look good on camera or not. We'll find out after I upload it. I just put down the echo. Anyway, so it seems to be two writers, or maybe it's just one writer with two different accounts. I don't know. Either way, I will write their name in the description below. This fanfic is called Midnight Boss Korekiyo X Reader One Shot. City winter, air nipping at the skin, turning all breath to a frosty smoke. Even in a scarf and jacket, the ice overtook my body. I shook my head, sucking in a deep breath as I wrapped my arms around my body. Any time now, I won't have to stand out here for much longer. Right on cue, the bus rolled around the corner, slowing to a stop right before me. Despite the morning, it was dark, as if I was going to school in the middle of the night. That's just how winter was, right? Luckily, I was the only one at my bus stop. They were so far out of town, of course not far enough to not attend school, but I was lucky to get accepted for the bus rides. I had to be picked up first though. And much earlier, so the other students were late. It was alright. I was supposed to get to the sinus all to myself for a while. I took a seat, leaning against the frozen window and looking out the blanket of snow, covering the rail in the crisp pearl color. The door closed and the bus began moving. Taking off down the road, I plugged it in my headphones and closed my eyes, enjoying the music that played. It didn't really feel much time had passed before the bus stopped again and two more people got on. One moved to the far back of the bus, and the other decided to sit right across from me. I gave her a glance, and she returned it with a wave and a smile. Her mouth moved to say something, but with the music, I couldn't hear. I paused my music and pulled the headphones out of my ears. Sorry, I didn't catch that. She sighed, then repeated it. The winter ball is tonight. You're going to go, right? She questioned, brushing her blonde hair behind her ear and out of her face. I quickly shook my head, putting my phone in my pocket. No way. I would never go to something like that. Don't you know me? Raising an eyebrow to her, I replied without hesitation. She returned a shrug, sitting back in her seat. Well, yeah, but you're a senior already. And I've been to one. This is your last chance. Do you really want to waste it? I have my reasons for not going. I like being alone. I hated being around the others at social events. There was nothing for me there. I would rather just sit at home all school year. I never went to a single school event, so I wouldn't start now. Katie, I just don't want to go. Maybe if I had a good reason to, crossing my arms, and turned my head away and looked out the window once again. The event was just after school, so even if I wanted to go, I couldn't. I didn't have a dress, or the entrance money, or even a date. The bus stopped again, and another girl came on. Uncrossed at her, blonde hair flew behind her. She walked past, then dropped at the seat behind me without warning. Her arms were drawn over the seat as she leaned over. So, she gave me a glance, then looked at Kaede to shook her head. The girl groaned in response. Damn! Not even seriously able to talk to you? Unless my shoulder was suddenly grabbed, and she gave me a sneer that made me want to run away quickly. I need to make up a name. I'm gonna call the MC Yuna. Yuna, you gotta go. I won't take no for an answer. You're coming. If my name is Emil Aruma, with the seal, she burst out laughing. Don't worry about a thing. I got you the perfect dress. But no buts. She moved her fingers over her mouth like she was dipping her lips, then leaned closer. I won't let you skip this one. The seniors have a special thing this time. I even made it myself. Now I'm afraid. Kaede rolled her eyes. What is it? Mia almost sounded offended but cleared her throat. I got permission from the school to build an ice skating rink. Just for the seniors on the football field. What's winter without ice skating after all? She giggled happily. Then poked my cheek. I cleaned your dress, so don't worry about any stains. Come by my house after school. Stains? Should I even ask? Mia was strong and could be horrible to someone if she didn't like them. So it was logical to stay on her good side to survive the remaining of the year. I didn't have a choice in this, I guess. The bus continued to stop more times. Filling the bus with loud people before it took us to the school. The day played out normally before the bell rang, and students exited the school like a river to get into their dresses, or put on makeup, or fix their ties, but I remained by the doors, waiting for Miyu, who strutted out like she owned the school. She spotted me waiting and grabbed my arm. Finally! My house isn't far, so I hope you get ready. And even pay for your ticket. The gray dress dragged along the ground softly. Weaving out like a dark storm clouds. It was beautiful, but didn't look good on me at all. It was so tight. I had to stuck in just for it to look normal. Luckily, I wasn't forced to change my hair up. It's the only ran a comb through it. The final touch with the shoes. Wish I would feel heels instantly. I'll do the same. Well, depending. If it's super high, hell no. If it's just a little tiny bitty heel, then I'll do it. Anyway, I could not wear something like that, especially with all that ice around. I didn't want to break a leg, after all. So she gave me low heels, which worked fine. After Miu got herself ready, she handed me a few dolls and dragged me back to the school. My very first event. I still didn't know what I could do. I didn't even know how to dance. Being a winter ball, it was probably elegant. And you stuck the entire yard in them. Or so I assumed. Those were the largest rooms in the school. So it would make sense. If you counted the schoolyard as a room, the moment I got to the school, I lost track of Miu and found myself alone in the crowds. I tried to scan around, but couldn't spot the blonde at all. Thinking she went inside already, I brought my ticket and entered the doors. Inside was another Inside was just as wild. Couples moving back and forth, covering every inch of the hallway. Even I stood on my tippy toes. I could see another desk at the end of the hall, where a somewhat of a line formed. The ticket collector was taking the paper in, stamping hands for entry. That's when I spot Miu, all the way up front, as her hand was stumped and she flanked someone's side. Entering together, her date? Is that why she left me behind? I began to surf through the crowds, gaining my spot in the line and finally getting my hand stamped as I handed in the ticket, passing the desk. I examined the halls a bit. Streamers and snowflakes hung from the walls, and the office area had been changed to a snack bar, where the ladies still were selling all kinds of drinks and food. I took a glance to the dim. Then with a heavy sigh, entered the doorway, soft violin music played as couples danced carefully, like they were older than high school students. All the lights were off, but there were Christmas lights hanging. All around, giving it more than enough light to see. Some students were masked, others dressed extravagantly. The final thing I noticed was the bleachers were out with single people watching the dancing. That seemed perfect. Maybe someone would ask me to dance, but hopefully not. I worked my way through the dim and approached the bleachers. Just as I did, another boy did, then asked someone to dance from the lower areas. The two took off, and I let outside. How lucky they were. I sat down, crossing my legs. I would have plugged in my headphones, but I had to leave it at home because of the dress. And the loud music would have torn it out anyway. Resting my sin in my hand, I looked into a few others on the bleachers, all dressed up, and looking completely bored. I wonder if they were forced to come as well. Only one other person didn't appear dressed up at all. He sat on a lower bench, sitting completely straight without moving a muscle, like a statue. I recall seeing him in the halls a few times, but he was always alone. I wonder why. I stood, then began to make my way over when someone grabbed my arm from behind, and I looked back to Miu. frowning wryly. You're seriously not going to talk to him? Are you? She squeezed my arm tighter. He's a creep. There's plenty of other people around to ask. They all look like tacky Ken and Barbie dolls. Hey, why you leave me anyway? I pulled out of her grip, returning a frown. I was alone and had to enter on my own. I thought I was going to have a picnic. I thought I was going to have a panic attack. She suckled awkwardly, looking back to the dance floor. They came in. I'm not going to apologize. I got you everything you're wearing, plus the money. You haven't even thanked me yet. Mia crossed her arms, staring me down angrily. The stuff for dance I didn't even want to come to. If you want me to be grateful, then fine. Thank you for forcing me to come to this stupid event and leaving me all alone. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see a few people staring, but I toned them out, focusing my attention to Miyu. She narrowed her eyes and suddenly pushed me back, almost making me fall before I caught my footing. You're such an ungrateful little... I knew should have helped you. You know what? I feel bad that your lonely ass would be missing the last dance of the school year, so I tried to help. I even sick kaede on you, and you refused to help. If you want to be alone all your life, then fine. Forget this. She drew her arms in the air and stood back to her waiting date. Strolled back to her waiting date. I could feel a pain in my heart, but swallowed it quickly. I didn't mean for a fight to break out, but her words truly hurt me. I should apologize later. Once we both cooled down, soaking in a heavy breath, I relaxed my irritation and looked back to the strange sky on the bleachers. I moved closer, standing before him. His eyes flickered up at me, but he didn't move. I started, crossing my arms. This is pretty awkward. Sorry, do you want to hang out or something? I mentally facepalmed. What was that? Hang out? His shoulders relaxed, and he suddenly nodded softly. I noticed an all mask on his face, covering both his mouth and nose. Okay, how do you not notice that immediately? Especially when this was written before the virus. But that wasn't the strangest of everything he was wearing at all. His hair flowed long. He had bandages wrapped around his hands. Why would he wear something so odd to a dance? It was likely he was forced as well. Perhaps. He stood, then offered his hand out. A pleasure to meet you. Right. Looking down, I took his hand, then crossed my arms again without making eye contact. My name is Yuna. I didn't even want to come here, but I suppose I should just... I shouldn't just be alone the whole time. Fuzzy smiled. I thought I saw him smoke beneath the mask as well. I see. Please, call me Korekiyo. Singuzi. Goosey. It's been a long time since someone has willingly spoke to me. He hugged himself gently. An almost sad look in his eyes. Can't read today. What would you like to do? I looked around the room, letting out a dry laugh. I can't dance. How about rocking around for a while? He nodded again. Taking my side as we exited the gym, I began to wander the halls. At first, it was somewhat awkward with the silence between us, but I finally decided to break the ice, clearing my throat. What's up with what you're wearing? Don't you wear that dummy skirt as well? I wondered, examining his dark green clothes. He almost looked like a soldier with them. Really? I thought he looked like a Nazi when I first saw him. Then I guess they were soldiers one day. Anyway, I could question your clothes as well. I didn't think you would wear something of the sort. He raised an eyebrow with wonder. I shrugged, looking down the ground. I'm a fuss anyway. I stopped looking around the halls. I think we went too far. I don't see anyone down this way. Let's head back. Turning, I continued speaking. Do you know how long this event is going to go on for? Possibly through the night. He answered without even thinking. It's one of the biggest events of the year, after all. But it's only a fundraising event. In fact, I'm only here to observe how it was working. I nodded, thinking carefully about it. Then I spoke again, changing the topic. You're a senior too, aren't you? Korekiyo sighed, brushing his hair back. Yes. I come every year, but I think this the first time I have seen you. I couldn't help but smile. Mew said he was a creep, but so far, he didn't seem all that bad. We found our way back to the office when he suddenly stopped, looking to the snack bar. Is there anything you want? He questioned, giving me a glance. I was confused at first, then realized he meant something to eat, and shook my head. No, I'm fine. Don't spend your money on me, I objected, but he laughed quietly, waving his hand. But I must. You were kind enough to offer your time to me. Please, pick whatever you wish. He looked into the menu. With a sigh, I looked through everything, finding the cheapest snack. He really didn't have to, but I probably wouldn't get away with not getting anything. A water bottle then. I nodded. Seeing the price of only 25 cents, Korekiyo shook his head. Then set his hand on my shoulder. It felt awkward at first, but I kept silent. You can get water anywhere. How about a suro? How do you say it? Or a pretzel. He gestured the menu again. Don't worry about the price. I have more than enough. Reluctantly, bit my lip and requested suro. I guess that sounded good. Korekiyo approached the counter, then returned with 2 suros quickly. After handing me one, I decided to ask, what job do you have to make a lot of money? You're interested? His voice grew quiet, but it sounded like he was excited as well. a steady anthropology. Do you know what that is? Taking a bite of the suro, I thought for a minute. I didn't know